I first learned about the friendship and the struggle between Fred and Dr. Mendelsohn when I received a phone call inviting me to co-produce this documentary. Dr. Mendelsohn called one evening to brief me on Fred's plight, a tragic story of a young undead high school student attempting to live a normal life.
Big fat zombie!
I hope to be able to open a door to the trials and tribulations, of course, but also to the barriers that are being broken by a young man and his learned mentor. First of all, I'd like to thank you for producing this very important documentary. You have been on the forefront for zombie rights from the beginning of the movement. How did you first become involved?
Well, when I was at Harvard, as you know, that's where I met my late undead wife, and we fell in love immediately doing a brainwave transfer. She was my first test subject, and at that time I realized I could help others of her kind.
And how did you become involved with Fred?
Well, when Fred arrived, I instantly knew that he had special needs, so I decided to mentor him and make sure that he was treated justly, kindly, fairly, and above all, humanely. I remember one day I was leaving from work and going to my car, and I saw Fred and a small group of hooligans.
Hey look, it's Fred, the new kid. We should be nice and give him a ride.
Totally, man. That just isn't right.
Let's make him feel welcomed.
Your car, man. Come on, Fred.
Come on, Fred. Hop in.
Let's get a ride. Come on. Oh, what? You can't get in?
I was reminded how those who are boldly different from us are so often left behind. And it was at that moment I decided to take Fred under my wing, and we would be alone together.
And what is your overall goal for Fred? In other words, what would you like Fred to accomplish in his therapy sessions with you?
Well, you know that Fred's been horribly mistreated ever since he became part of the undead community. They make a lot of fun of him, and I don't like that.
Damn it, zombie, get out of my way! God, so slow. Find another school!
Just to play devil's advocate, why do you feel Fred should be at this school?
Well, I know that the work that Fred and I are doing is on the vanguard, but I would turn that question around and I would say to you, would you say that same thing about a gay student? About an African-American student? About a deaf student? No, madam. I reject the very premise of your question. Now turn off this camera. Turn this off and make it pay. Turn this off. I'm sorry for that outburst.
Well, since he's been at this school, has Fred had any love interests?
Fred is an acquired taste, and it requires a very, very special and sensitive person to recognize his special brand of attractiveness, if you know what I mean. In the meantime, I've lent him some DVDs. So one of my goals with Fred is to have society recognize him for his unique contributions, yes. And I also want to make sure that Fred discovers where he excels. So one of our exercises was to have him perform in the local talent show. Yes. Oh, I was so delighted.
Serious?
Well, Meg, darling, you know, the reason that I brought you and your documentary crew here today was I wanted to bring Fred's story to the public. Because the term zombie has such negative connotations. It does not accurately reflect the individual, correct? You know, I want the public to remember that the term undead literally means life. It does. Isn't that wonderful? And you know, the more that they look into Fred's being and they see his highly nuanced, sensitive, emotional personality, the closer we will be to rights for the undead. Yes. Isn't that right, my darling Cecilia? Yes, it is right, Daddy. Yes, it is. You're such a sweetheart. Remember, when people choose not to look deeply, it is their boat that rests on top of the water, in the scum.